Greetings, I'm Professor Hobo, and welcome to another HOBOTECH product review. Summer travel season is literally right around the corner, and many folks are already gearing up to hit the road and do some serious post-pandemic camping. One of the biggest problems of being off the grid, though, is keeping your food and drink cold. Sure, you get a cheap Walmart styrofoam cooler and fill it full of ice every day and wake up to soggy sandwiches, or worse, ruin your trip with food poisoning because that potato salad you thought was cold enough wasn't. Now, wouldn't it be awesome if there was, say, a tiny fridge with a battery built in that you could just charge with solar no matter where you're at? Well, there is. It's called the AcoPower LiONCooler Mini. But is it any good? Let's find out.
HOBOTECH.
Welcome to the LiONCooler Mini. This is AcoPower's latest and greatest compact portable 12-volt compressor fridge. It will, of course, run directly off of AC wall power with the included AC wall brick, and it will, of course, run off of 12-volt cigarette lighter power from your vehicle. Now, that's nothing special because they all do that. What is special about this is this one has an optional 193 watt-hour lithium-ion battery built in that you can charge directly with solar. How it works is that you charge this battery up all the way using whatever source you like, and then you put it in, and then you can hook up a solar panel outside. This has a 5521 input right next to where you'd typically plug in either the 12-volt cigarette lighter or AC wall power. And as long as the sun shines, the battery will stay fully charged, and when the sun goes down, the refrigerator will just run off of battery power. Then the next morning, the sun comes back up, it will recharge what the battery used the night before, top it back off again before sunset, of course assuming that you have good solar, and then you just rinse and repeat. Basically, you can run this refrigerator for free forever off of solar, assuming you have good sun conditions. The AcoPower Mini comes in two different sizes. This one's the 18 liter, and then they have a 28 liter, which is a bit taller. I'll go ahead and put the size and weight at the bottom of the screen here for both models so you can decide which one's going to be right for your situation. But let me tell you, this 18 liter one is so lightweight, I'm having a hard time even keeping it on here. This thing is like, look at that. It's super lightweight. It's super small. You can literally squeeze this thing in anywhere. In fact, it's designed to fit between the front seats of a car, truck, or van. Now, as for build quality, this is all ABS plastic all the way around, although I found no information about the internal construction of this on their website. It does have recessed built-in handles on both sides and a cool bi-directional lid design, which allows you to open it from either direction. Now, we just saw this exact same bi-directional door feature on an ice-cold fridge I reviewed just a few weeks ago. It seems as though this design is starting to catch on. Now, on the door has this rubber coating with little nipples on it. I don't know what else to call that. Little raised dimples, maybe. That's designed so you can put stuff on the top of this lid, and while you're driving, the stuff won't go flying off. It also has a pair of cup holders built in with this magnetic lid. I don't know how long that lid would last with me. I'd probably end up losing it in like 2 seconds. Now, what else is different from other fridges is that AcoPower decided to give you some storage space on the inside, so apparently you could squeeze a cable in there and store it. Well, it's not a very big space. Now, as for the display, it's right here on top. There's really nothing special to see. It's the typical kind of LCD display you get on a fridge with features such as temperature control, max and eco modes, battery protection modes, battery voltage with charge level icon, and Bluetooth features. Yes, AcoPower does offer a Bluetooth app which allows you to control all their refrigerators remotely with your mobile device. Now, this app is pretty basic. It allows you to change the temperature, see the current voltage, state of charge of the battery, things like that. I've covered it before in other AcoPower fridge reviews, so I'm not going to cover it again in this review. As for the warranty, AcoPower does offer a 1-year warranty on the fridge itself and a 2-year warranty on the compressor. And of course, we took the AcoPower fridge into my secret lab. We performed all kinds of crazy experiments on it. So of course, the most important thing to know about a portable fridge is how much power it uses. So of course, we went ahead and tested that. First test, let's go ahead and start with the AcoPower at room temperature. You can see 68 degrees on the inside. We're going to start it up, put it on max mode. Here we are, max mode. Now we're going to set it to 32 degrees, and it is on low battery mode, so we don't have to worry about voltage. And we're gonna go ahead and track how many watt hours, which is gonna be right down here. I say, how many watt hours does it take to get to 32 degrees? We'll also track the time right there. Okay, the compressor just shut off at the 14-minute mark, only using 10 watt hours to cool it down from room temperature to 32 degrees. Now it does say 32 degrees, the compressor did kick off, but let's see what the actual temperature is inside. Okay, it does say 43 degrees, so it's not quite 32 degrees, at least on this side of the fridge. Maybe it is on the other side of the fridge, but I just randomly placed this in there. In fact, we'll put this in the middle. So it's not quite 32 degrees in the bottom. Okay, for this next test, we're gonna go ahead and continue where we left off. Put it on 0 degrees, and we'll go ahead and see how much power and how long it takes to get to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, the compressor just kicked off. It does register as 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and it took 25 minutes because you got to subtract 3 minutes for my filming. So it stopped at 25 minutes, 17 watt hours to get from room temperature to 0 Fahrenheit. That is pretty darn efficient. So let's see what it actually says on the inside. It's not actually 0 degrees inside there. In fact, it's 24 degrees. It's now time for the next test, which is the overnight efficiency test. I have this set to 32 degrees Fahrenheit in eco mode. Inside, I have a gallon of water and 6 bottled water. And we're gonna go ahead and let this sit at 32 degrees inside the refrigerator for at least 3 or 4 hours, and then we're gonna do an overnight test. All right, the meter is zeroed out. We're at a steady 32 degrees on eco mode. This has been 4 hours, letting everything inside come up to temperature, and it's registering at 38 degrees, which isn't too bad. And let this get started, and we're gonna go ahead and run it for 12 hours, and then that way we can extrapolate what energy it would use in 24 hours. All right, it has been 12 hours and it has taken 75 watt hours or 5.6 amp hours to run the AcoPower LiONCooler for 12 hours. So there you have it. You just double those numbers for 24 hours, or it takes about 150 watt hours in a 24-hour period. And for those curious about what the temperature is in the room, it is about 67 degrees. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is go ahead and open this battery compartment. Then I'm gonna disconnect the 12 volts, and we have a fully charged battery ready to go in. Okay, that battery is in, you heard the beep. Now we're gonna go ahead and see how much power it takes from the battery over the next 12 hours. Okay, it's been 12 hours. Internally, it's 33 degrees, which is just about perfect. Looks like in 12 hours, the fridge used 54% of the battery. So let's come back in 12 more hours and see if it's still running or not. We're back, it's been a full 24 hours. It's still running at 32 degrees with 10% of the battery left. So the AcoPower made it 24 hours on its own battery. Pretty good. Temperature is still at 32 degrees. That's awesome. Now the next most important stat is how loud is it? Because if you're sleeping in your vehicle or in a tent or something with this and it's in your ear all night long, you want to know how loud it is. Now this refrigerator scored a much improved 45 decibels over the other AcoPower models I've reviewed in the past. Now 45 decibels is whisper quiet. This thing doesn't make any crazy noises, and it's probably not going to keep you up at night. So what about this power bank battery that you can get with the AcoPower fridges? Well, first it's 193 watt hours, like I mentioned before. It does have a light on the back if you're interested in that kind of thing. It has a couple of basic USB ports and a 60 watt bidirectional power delivery ports. You can actually charge this with USB if you decide to. It also has a DC input for the solar panel. The range on it is 12 to 30 volts up to 120 watts. And it does have a 12 volt output port, 5521, just like the input, which allows you to power things like a CPAP machine. So, I mean, this thing is a pretty basic battery bank. There's nothing spectacular about it. But what's kind of cool is it does have this built-in connector on the back that when you put it inside, it actually connects to the back of the fridge powers it directly. So you don't have to use any cables or anything. You just slide the battery in, it hits those little connectors, and then you'll hear a beep whenever you push it in all the way. Now, since this refrigerator is all about solar charging, of course I have to show you that it does charge with solar, even though it was a very windy day. Okay, here we have the AcoPower 90-watt panel hooked up. You'll have to excuse the wind. It's blowing about 40 miles an hour today. What do you want? What's your problem? I have the battery in here charging. The problem is, can't see a damn thing. Okay, you're probably barely gonna be able to see that, but it's charging at 45 watts. Battery's at 15 volts, 44% state of charge. Now you gotta remember, this is about 5 o'clock in the evening. So it's, the sun is just about ready to go down, but at least for a change, we have some pretty good sky conditions. Now, in order to charge this with solar, you just plug it into this outside right here. There's a 5.5 millimeter input, which connects directly to the battery inside. So you don't even need to have the refrigerator on. I have it turned off right now because I was tilting it a lot. But you don't even need to have the refrigerator on, and it will charge the battery. And of course, you can charge the battery separately. So now I have the battery out. I can just plug it into the DC in, and it will start charging again. And that screen is really, really hard to see in the sunlight. So you can charge the battery externally. If you have two batteries, like say you want to run one in the fridge and charge the other one, you can do that. Or if you just have the one battery, you can just leave it in the fridge and charge it through the external port. Pretty convenient. So what do I like about the AcoPower LiONCooler Mini? I really do like this compact design. That cool bi-directional lid, the internal battery that doubles as a power bank, and the fact that it offers an app. And just like the LiONCooler Pro that I reviewed last year, this too will also fail-safe over from AC or DC power to built-in battery if the external power is cut off. That means, of course, you could use this in a situation to store refrigerated medicine in a blackout, or just simply use the built-in battery to keep the fridge cool in your vehicle when you turn off the ignition, or maybe I should say push the button to turn off the ignition nowadays. Now, I do use my big AcoPower fridge with built-in battery on road trips to Costco, so I can keep my frozen stuff frozen on the long trip back. I can even pre-chill it while I'm shopping while the car's not running because built-in battery. It's actually really friggin' cool to have the built-in battery, and the option to solar charge it is even better. Of course, the battery will charge if you have this plugged into your cigarette lighter in your car, so while you're driving, the battery will continue to charge while the fridge is running at the same time. I won't tell you how many times I've taken other refrigerators with a JACKERY with the wonky cigarette lighter plug, and I get halfway home and I've noticed that the refrigerator's not running because the plug popped out. I mean, that's happened at least a half dozen times. So having the built-in battery is actually way more convenient than using a solar generator. I also like that this thing is very efficient at using only 150 watt hours in a 24-hour period. That's either a record or a very close second place for all the refrigerators I've ever reviewed. But of course, this is also the smallest refrigerator I've ever reviewed, which means it's not going to take as much power to keep the little space inside cool. Also, the fact that it only used 90% of its internal battery in a 24-hour period means that you can run this an entire day without solar, without plugging in anything else to keep your stuff cold. I do have to assume that the 28-liter model, which like I said is a little bit taller than this one, same dimensions the rest of the way around, is probably going to take just a little bit more power to keep it cool. So if you really don't need the 28-liter, you want to save a few bucks, you can get this one and it'll actually use less power if that's a major concern of yours. Now, if you run this thing in deep freezer mode and put it down to -4 below Fahrenheit, it's going to burn through the battery in 2 or 3 times as fast. So don't expect to get more than 8 hours maybe off the battery if you put this in deep freezer mode. So what don't I like about this AcoPower fridge? Well, call me a stickler, but I just don't like the wasted space. These big ass cup holders that are built in, the extra storage under the battery. Now, if I were to design something like this, I would just offer an external cup holder that could clip onto either side and not waste the internal space. I'd also make it so the battery would just slip in a vertical slot, and then the rest of the space I could put back into the refrigerator compartment, because you could probably fit another 4 cans of soda in here if you got rid of all that extra space. Now, if I was going to do something crazy, what I would do is I would design a solar panel that would fit into the lid. So that way you don't have to carry around 2 things, because you got to have 2 hands to carry this, right? But then how do you carry the solar panel at the same time? You got to make 2 trips. So why don't you just design something to hold the solar panel in the top, and then it just would clip into the lid, and you can take it off the lid, set it up, and boom, you got solar. That's how I'd do it. But really my only gripe is the wasted space. Everything else about this fridge is actually pretty cool. And yeah, that was a pun. As for price, the AcoPower LiONCooler Mini, as of the time of this recording, is still in super early bird pricing on Kickstarter. That means it's the lowest price you're ever gonna get it. The smallest and most affordable model is the one you see right here. This one's 18 liters, and that's going for the ridiculously low price of $226. Now that does not include the battery. If you know what AcoPower charges for the retail price of the refrigerators, this is almost half of what they normally charge. Now if you want to get the bundle deal of this fridge with the battery, that's $401. The retail price of that package is going to be well over $600, so you're knocking a couple $100 off getting it on the Kickstarter. Now you can also opt for the larger 28-liter model. That's $263 without the battery, and $441 with the battery. Now the size you choose should be based on your personal needs. I don't expect the 28-liter model to cool any worse than the 18, but it probably will take a little bit more power. Now this 18-liter, like I said, is super lightweight and ready for day trips to go just about anywhere, even in a small car. The 28-liter being larger would be more for longer-term camping or family use. This fridge does support up to 120 watts of solar, and if you don't have a solar already, AcoPower does sell their own 90-watt solar panel. You can add that on in the checkout after you put this in your cart. So you have to put the fridge in there first. Then when you go to checkout, they give you options, like if you want to get an extra battery or solar panel or something like that, you can just add it on right before you pay. And by the way, if you're scared of Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding stuff, there's really no need to be in this case because AcoPower has been doing this for a long time. Now I've been personally working with AcoPower for the last couple of years. This is their 2nd or 3rd crowdfunding that I know of. They probably even have more than that. And they've always delivered as promised, so you don't have to worry about getting ripped off. They do have an official website. You can go check out all their other products. I do in fact have discounts on all their other fridges if you're interested. You just go to HOBOTECH.tv, click on refrigerators, and I have a whole section down there dedicated to AcoPower, and it'll give you the links and codes to get discounts if you want to get something other than this. Of course, I have to mention that if you're watching this review weeks or months later, the prices are going to be a lot higher. So you don't need to leave a comment in 2023 and tell me that this fridge is now $600. We know. So what about the competition? Well, there are now quite a few competitors out there that have battery-powered fridges, including the heavy hitter IceCo brand, which I just reviewed. However, AcoPower was one of the first and is one of the only focused on solar charging. If solar charging is a really big deal for you, then AcoPower is actually worth the small premium over the other brands. If you're interested in one of these AcoPower mini fridges, the link and discount code is in the description of this video. I'm also going to put a link here at the bottom of the screen with QR code that you can scan on any mobile device, and it'll take you over to their page where you can check out this product. Thanks for watching. If you learned something today, don't forget to give me that thumbs up below, and if you're not a subscriber already, you know what to do. That's it for now. Till next time.
Odin commands you to like and subscribe, and clean my litter box.
Now, if you're one of those road raging type people that just can't stand traffic and you absolutely have to pound a cold brew before you get behind the wheel, AcoPower has you covered.
RV Golf Guy, Andrew Von Rupp, Brian Lubers, John Jason Sirocco, Dr. Steve Eisenberg.